I'm going to explain to you the optimal way to farm your legendaries. So are you picking up your sacred and then later on your ancestral rares? Because that is the way you're actually supposed to farm your legendary. So if you're just ignoring them, then that is a big mistake that you are making, especially while leveling through 50 all the way to 100. So what you really want to do is every time you find a legendary, if you don't want it, just go ahead and throw it in your stash, deal with it later. Go ahead and buy all these tabs, which after you're like level 50 at least is like the gold for these is just nothing. You just buy them all real fast. And just start throwing your legendaries in here. Now, I wasn't doing this at first, and I regret it now. But what you really want to do is you want to go for the rares that are sacred if you're a nightmare, and then, you know, ancestral if you are in world tier 4. And you're just going to try to find rares that have the exact stats that you want, or as many of them as you can get. And there's something we'll talk about in a second about what you can do also with that. But ideally, what you'll do is you'll find a yellow, a sacred or ancestral, you know, the best one you can find, that has what you want, like this thing, which is just insane for me. Cooldown reduction, glass cannon passive, and damage reduction to enemies that are burning, which is working with the way that I'm changing my build right now. And crowd control duration, yeah, I could live without that one, though. And that one's at a low roll, too, on top of that, which we'll talk about in a second. I got a really important thing for that. But, like, this thing's amazing, right? But it's not a legendary. That is why you want to store all your legendaries in storage, and you want to pick up any of the yellows that are the highest that you for your world here. And then you're going to try to find ones that have the exact stats that you want. And then you're going to take your legendaries, and you're going to, like, say I like this. Okay. Well, in my build, in particular, I want this one with unstable occurrence when my shock when skills of my unstable occurrence is not active. Okay. So then I will go back through my legendaries, and I'll find one that has a decent amount of that. And then I'll go take that, and I'll go to the occultist over here, and I'll extract that aspect. And then I will put that aspect on the yellow and turn it into a legendary. And then I'll have this new legendary that has the stats that I want, but also has the legendary aspect I want. You don't need to go straight for the legendary. Now, something else you can also do to help with all this is, you know, so like this thing. It had the crowd control duration down, which I don't really care for right now in the build that I'm doing. So what you'll do then is you'll take those and you'll want to go do Helltides whenever they're available, which not available right now, but if you don't know what Helltide is, it's pretty obvious. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the occultist, and we're going to use these items that we get from Helltides. We're going to enchant an item. So whatever item it is, we can go and we can pick one of the things we don't want. And then if we have the Forgotten Souls and the Fiend Roses, which you get from Helltides, then when you find that perfect piece of gear, you can just try your hand at swapping out one of the stats for it. And then if you're lucky, you'll go from like that one where it had that one stat I didn't really care for to having all 4 stats being something I really, really want. And when you get something like that, then you won't need to change it again until you're like level 100. You're just done for that slot, basically. And even this, you don't have to go this hard on it till you're level 100. It might be smarter just to save all these things till you're level 100 and deal with it then. But if you've got something that you really want to re-roll, like that's what you can do. Level 100 especially, you can do that to get your perfect stat rolls. You get the yellows, you get them with exactly what you want, with this item power that you want, and then they have that one stat you don't want, and then you re-roll it over and over again until you get it with all the stats that you want. Then, once you have that, then you go in here and imprint the aspect from your aspects. Now, it's important to know, Codex of Powers are terrible. So you only do Codex of Power if you don't have the one that you want at all. Like right now, I'm low on my, I don't literally have any right now for the rapid aspect for the sorceress. And so I'll just go ahead and throw Codex of Power on, and I'll just do it with that instead. And then I will, you know, re-aspect it later on. You can just, you know, put a new aspect over top of an imprinted one. I could put this on right now, and I could go take some different aspect and put it on and swap it out. So it's not like a full commitment. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and put Codex of Power on temporarily, but ideally you want the aspects, because, like, for aspects from the drops, because that will let you get the highest roll possible. Codex of Powers always get the minimum roll. So then you'll just, that's why we collect all our aspects. We don't even worry. Just throw them all in storage to deal with it later. When you find a yellow that has what you want, then that's when it's time to go through your storage and find the aspect that you want for it. And that's how I've started doing it, and I regret not doing this sooner. I didn't know what I was doing before in levels 30 and 40 and stuff, when I was throwing away at like legendaries left and right, not realizing what I was doing. But now it's been making it way easier to get geared out, getting my build done way faster. It is just the way that you're going to want to do your legendaries. If you're farming legendaries any other way, you're not being optimal about it. This is the optimal way to get the actual good gear that you want for the long term, for the end game. And that's all I really wanted to tell you. I mean, I don't know, real quick, legendary farms. You want to do legendary farms, farm the elites in PvP zones. You can farm until they nerf it someday. There's a dungeon that you can farm right up over here. The marker right now, a champion's demise, good elites in there. I just posted the other day or today about one right here, iron hold. It's another good one with a lot of big elite clusters. You just farm elites, or you do the event cheese where you do an event and then leave game and re-enter over and over until the event comes back. Do that and then turn in murmuring obols at Lizveth and do things like that if you need legendaries. But either way, guys, I just wanted to make this video to help you understand the optimal way to farm legendaries. Now, if you already knew that, then I don't know why you were even clicking videos. You already knew the best way to farm legendaries. But if you didn't know that, well, hopefully it helps you out. Now you can save a lot of time and effort by farming your legendaries more efficiently in Diablo 4.